Hello everyone. I have a couple of things I want to talk about on my channel, and so I thought this newly started series, the Rom's Ramblings, would be the perfect place to put those thoughts. You might hear some commotion in the background, but that is because we recently got 3 new ferrets, and they just so happen to really love being in the recording room, and since I'm not recording a story right now, I just decided to let them stay in the room with me. One is actually biting my shoe right now, trying to eat the sole of my shoe. Oh man, so yeah, recently we got 3 new ferrets. Their names are Peridot, Topaz, and Ruby. They didn't come with those names. They came with 3 other names, Ruby, Tilly, and Penny. But they didn't come from a good home, and they didn't know their names. I screamed their names at them several times, and none of them even looked at me. So I just decided to change their names, and then we had the idea to make them all gemstones because one was named Ruby. And because of the paperwork and referring back to their old records, I didn't want to change the first letter of their name. I just wanted to change the rest of it. But we kept the first letter so that it's easy to refer back to what their names used to be. So Penny became Peridot and Tilly became Topaz, and then we just kept Ruby the same. It's been really fun having them around. They're honestly just so sweet, energetic. I definitely feel like whoever had to give them up missed out because they've just had me laughing nonstop since we got them. We've had them for about 2 weeks now. Maybe a little longer. Unfortunately, about a week ago, not quite a week ago, Lilith, my oldest ferret, did pass away. I made a post about it. And I'm still pretty upset about it, honestly. I know many of you know how I felt about her, and I, put that video I made about her in the post I made, and I think a lot of you went and watched it because I got a lot of new comments on it and everything, and I just wanted to say thank you for all of your kind words. I didn't respond to a lot of the comments I got on the post I made telling everybody that she had passed away just because I was so upset. And until yesterday, I couldn't talk about her without crying. It was just too raw. But I did want to say thank you to each and every one of you that left kind words, shared your experiences. A lot of you really understand how I feel, and I just appreciate all the love and everything. All right, so it's Halloween time, right? And last year at Halloween time, I didn't have enough prepared, and then I ended up working way too hard in way too short of an amount of time to try and get something out, and I'm not going to do that to myself this year because we're not going to actually even be home on Halloween. We're going to be out of town. But what I am going to do is sit here and tell you all what I have planned. It's a loose plan. I'm not going to hold myself to it because it has been pretty hectic. I had 2 kidney stones last month. And if I get a kidney stone or something again this month, it's pretty much going to put me down for a week, and then that's going to mess everything up. But in the hopes that this won't all get messed up, here is what I want to do. So I'm going to finish that series I'm working on right now. My past 2 uploads have been the first 2 parts of a series, and I think there's only going to be 2 more parts. So I'm going to finish that series up, and then the author that has been writing that series for me, I really like his writing. And so I asked him if he would write me 10 short stories between 15 and 20 minutes to put out the 10 days leading up to Halloween. I thought that would be fun, and it wouldn't be too much work because last year, instead of doing something like that, I put out a really long video called Upon a Crimson Throne. Love that story. However, I do not want to cram 30 hours of work into 3 days again, like I did last year. So I'm not going to do that. So if everything goes right, I'm going to do those 10 short stories. Also, if everything goes right, I'm going to be releasing a special long story. So long as I don't have to cram it into the final few days again, I think it should be fine. And also, I want to release another Animal Crossing Island tour because I made one of those for Halloween too. I can't remember if that was last year's Halloween or not, but I made an Animal Crossing Island tour, and it wasn't super popular, but the thing is that it was just super fun to make. You know, I really like the game, and it's really fun to decorate the island and go through it and show it off. I don't know. So I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to get really stoned and do that actually, like I did last time. It was so fun. Just a really chill time. Maybe I can see if Ronnie will want to do it with me. The other reason why I wanted to make another one of these rambling videos is because I just so happened to catch something pretty interesting on camera in my backyard today. Well, it's interesting to me because if you didn't realize from the last rambling video, I'm kind of a little nerd for like little critters and stuff that live in my backyard. And that squirrel I was talking about came back, the one that we nicknamed Cobb because he loves corn. And I got a video of him, so I'm going to put that up on screen and we'll go through it together. So I got him eating the corn, and then he jumped down onto this pallet. We've been meaning to burn it forever, but then the squirrel kind of just took it and made it the place where he likes to sit, so we just leave it there. And I filmed him for a while just because, I don't know, I thought he would do something cool. Sometimes he lays down and stretches out, really cute. But eventually, he jumped onto the ground, jumped onto the fire pit, and I just kept filming him because I usually don't catch him on film doing anything else other than just sitting and digesting. Let's see. And he ran over here, and I was hoping that he was going to come closer, and he did. He came right up onto the patio. I just tried really hard not to move because he's very skittish. I haven't been able to get him to eat from my hands or anything, but he came up onto the patio. He's so cute, so fluffy. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. If anyone knows more about squirrels, maybe you could tell me. He darts out, a bird swings at him, like, get the heck out of here, and then he comes back. There he is. He runs in and claims his spot. He didn't really do anything else after this. He just steals their food. But I thought it was really cute because the squirrels and the birds in my backyard have kind of like a dynamic. The birds are always really grumpy at the squirrel because I assume they don't like him coming up in their business and stealing their food. And it's just funny, especially the crows. We'll get crows in our backyard sometimes, and they'll scream at the squirrel and get really loud, or more than one squirrel will come and they'll fight, or maybe they're not fighting, but you know, when squirrels do that thing where they like get really crack-headed and start running in circles super fast and making that noise, and sometimes they'll like jump on another squirrel and they'll like do it together. It's really funny. They do that a lot, this squirrel and another smaller squirrel that comes into my yard. But anyway, I used to make fun of people I knew when I was a kid. Like, anyone who would get excited over stuff like this, I'd be like, I don't get it. Watching wildlife is for losers. But I'm an adult now, and I fully realize why it's so fun. I don't know why I didn't get the appeal. You know, as a teenager, you just want to sit inside, and in my case, play video games and watch anime. And now that I'm an adult, I'm kind of finding that I sort of really have a love for watching wildlife, and especially like making my backyard a place where they would like to go. I don't know, it makes me really excited when we pick up, like, we bought a little birdhouse and that squirrel feeder and everything. And it just makes me really excited to think that I'm helping the wildlife around me have like an environment where they can thrive. It makes me feel fulfilled, sort of in the same way that like doing YouTube does, or when I take care of the ferrets. That feeling you get when you know you're helping another living creature do something or have a better life. You know, I'm really excited for Halloween every year on YouTube. Not just because of the cool narrating stuff that goes on, but like every YouTuber puts out a cool Halloween video, you know, YouTubers that have their shit together, not like me. But I always get so excited because I love Halloween. I really do. I love spooky stuff. You know, I'd have to love spooky stuff to specialize in narrating spooky things. But I always have really loved spooky stuff ever since I was a kid. I've always really been into horror movies. Some of my favorites to watch this time of year, the first couple Nightmare on Elm Streets. I really love Freddy Krueger, and you really can't beat that nostalgic, corny horror. You know, I love it. I love it. But as far as actually getting scared goes, not just like watching it because it's horror schlock, I really like movies like The Fly, the original one. The one with Jeff Goldblum is really good too, but I haven't seen it in a really long time, so I can't really say which is better in my opinion, but I'm a big Vincent Price fan, and The Fly legitimately scares me. You know, it's a black and white movie, and, you know, they get a lot of flack for not being that scary, but it is. The Fly is a scary movie. Also, House on Haunted Hill. I believe it came out in 1959, and that is my favorite movie of all time, period. I love that movie. I used to watch it with my grandma all the time, and there's a part in it that I still almost cover my eyes at every time. That's just followed me from childhood. I love that movie so much. Highly recommend it if you have the time this spooky season. With the newer movies, honestly, I find it hard to get scared by a lot of newer horror movies. Why do you guys think that is? Do you think that horror has kind of become too much about jump scares and tension, you know? Like, I don't know. Now, especially that I've started doing this whole narrating thing, I find it kind of shitty whenever I watch a horror movie or a horror TV show and they just rely so much on nothing but tension, like the tension leading up to a jump scare type of tension. You know what I mean? You're kind of sitting there like, oh my gosh, I know it's coming any second. And there are just so many other ways to evoke horror from someone. I recently watched that Netflix show, Haunting of Hill House, I believe it was called. Actually written by someone who I think started on No Sleep or started doing, you know, stories like that. I believe it's someone Ronnie actually worked with one time. But anyway, I watched it, and that show has a good example of what I would consider varied horror. It wasn't just all jump scares. In fact, a lot of it didn't have to do with jump scare type stuff. And if you have seen it, I'm about to describe a scene that specifically scared me really bad that I just thought about. So, minor spoiler, but not really, because I don't remember what was happening plot-wise. I'm just gonna explain what was really scary. But that one scene, I think it's towards maybe the end, where it shows that really, really, really long-legged, tall man walking down the hallway, and like it doesn't show his face, but it's just showing like his body, and there's like that little girl or something is like seeing it. I don't know. That scene in particular really scared me. Like the presentation, the effects were fantastic. It didn't look fake. Like it looked good. Yeah, well, I started rambling, but you know, that is the title. So I've also been watching Goosebumps again. I can't, man. Like every time I hear the Goosebumps opening, I get so excited. I love that it's a meme because every meme or TikTok or any piece of media I see that uses that iconic Goosebumps opening, it just gets me hyped. It really does. I read Goosebumps all throughout my childhood. And well, I've always been very squeamish. I think I've mentioned that several times. So when I do think about Goosebumps, it always makes me remember parts or whole books that made me feel really sick to my stomach to read. Like, there's this one. I don't remember what it's called, but I'm going to describe it to you. There's this giant, like, mass of flesh or something. This is a Goosebumps book. Yeah, there's this giant mass of flesh. And in the book, it starts describing how, like, these snails or slugs start popping out of its skin and raining all over the characters and stuff. And I have a very vivid memory of sitting in the car and reading this out loud to my niece and nephew and having to stop and make my sister pull over because I threw up. Like, it just made me really car sick. There's probably motion sickness too, but that's a memory that I don't think will ever leave me. I always think about that when I think of Goosebumps. And so now, so do you. You're welcome. Oh yeah, I'll finish this one off with something, I don't know, funny, sad. You guys can let me know in the comments. But it's at least ironic, if nothing else. So, me being a horror narrator, I'm sure you assume I'm into horror, yes? But also probably maybe I really like haunted houses. Maybe you'd assume that I really like going out to like those spooky events or Halloween parties. No. So, unfortunately, at a young age, I was taken to this thing by my house. It was called Fear Forest. If you live in Virginia, you've probably heard of it. It's called Fear Forest. And it's this really cool haunted forest attraction. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's like this really done up forest attraction where they have people in the forest. They pop out at you, they chase you. And it's really, really, really cool. It's really high quality. But I've never been able to go or go to any haunted house or anything even similar to it because I was taken to Fear Forest. And the first thing that happened was I was probably about 10 years old when this happened. And I was walking down the trail with like my family and stuff. And someone popped out, and the very first pop out, the very first person in a mask to jump at me, I just fell to the ground, started hyperventilating, having a panic attack. Like, it got so bad, way worse than just a little kid, like, crying. It got so bad that these people started taking their masks off and coming up to me and being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, please calm down. And my family had to like carry me out because I was flipping out. I mean, I was like 10 years old, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about that experience that terrified me so bad, but I can't handle haunted houses. I have tried to go, I've been to one successfully, but the fun sort of scares you get from horror that we all are here for, that fun sort of scare you're supposed to get from a haunted house was so borderline me having a panic attack that it just wasn't fun. So, I don't know. I think unfortunately I'll always kind of have that bugaboo about me, but yeah, it's pretty ironic. Something I think about a lot because I wish I could enjoy things like Fear Forest or Hollow Scream, which is a Halloween-y thing they have going on at King's Dominion or Busch Gardens or something. Anyway, something my family likes doing. But I've always had to stay home or sit it out, which always kind of sucked. But, I don't mind so much now that I'm older. I've definitely come to terms with the fact that I have this really weird fear or phobia or something. But that just means you guys are going to have to go out and do it up twice as hard for me because, I'm missing out. Have you guys ever had an experience like that? Do you have like some sort of really irrational fear? I have more than just that one. I have quite a few irrational fears, actually. Not just fears that are like, oh, I'm afraid of heights, but like literally you've probably never met people that have certain fears that I have. I have several very, very, what would you call it? Particular, very specific phobias. Maybe in my next rambling video, I'll make that like the topic, like the highlight that I talk about. Because I'm not really embarrassed or ashamed of them, I mean, everyone's scared of stuff, so. I more so think it's funny to talk about because I've gotten to a point where I can laugh at myself and find it funny. Which I would suggest you try to do if it bothers you too much, if something like bothers you a lot. I find it makes it easier if you can laugh at it yourself. It's not for everybody, but yeah. Maybe next time, if you guys have enough interest in wanting to hear about it, I'll tell you guys about my weird little phobias, or whatever you'd want to call it. Anyway, I'll probably see you all with an upload in a day or two. I hope that you're staying safe, staying nice and spooky in the spooky season, and if you don't celebrate Halloween or spooky season isn't for you, then I just hope you have a nice day.